Hi folks, Pickleball Librarian here, and I was teasing you earlier, telling you about this cool high-tech library school that I went to in Emporia, Kansas. And we are actually in the William Allen White Library right now. It's a very high-tech library, but I'm in the basement. I'm surrounded by all kinds of cool stuff. And I promise I'll post pictures later on, but the reason why I picked this location in the library is because research. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. You sit there for hours. You scan newspaper articles. You read microfiche. You hunt. You find people. You call them up. You keep calling numbers because people don't answer numbers or the numbers change. You have to do a lot of work. And that is what Jennifer Lucore and Beverly Youngren did when they wrote this book. A mother-daughter team wrote this great book called History of Pickleball. More than 50 years of fun. We are living in an interesting time in our sports development. You know, it's so great to witness history firsthand. I mean, how can you just stop and just read about pickleball history when it's happening right now? But you really can. You can grab this book. I mean, it's easy to read. You can read it in little chunks at a time. It really keeps you flowing. I very enjoy this book a lot. So for anyone interested in pickleball or its history, I recommend The History of Pickleball. I've read a lot of history books in my time, and what the authors have done is amazing. The research is impressive. The primary source documents used in oral history is amazing. Jennifer told me they had over 15 hours of audio from Barney and other pioneers. Incidentally, Barney McCallum is one of the 3 founders of pickleball, someone you should know. The fact that the authors went to the original sources and they used actual notes and newspaper articles, and they hunted down the pioneers was very impressive for a researcher like me. They had some real intense research, so I had to use this place, my library school, as a backdrop for this video. Coincidentally, my library school is where I received my Master's of Library Science. Duh! Anyway, I learned a lot about research here. I spent a lot of time in this basement. I spent a lot of time in the whole library. And like I said, I'll show you some pictures later on. So I plan to share this book with my fellow librarians, by the way. And I want to tell you, one of my favorite stories is the library story on page 149. It gives all kinds of details about a library that checks out paddles and pickleball equipment. This isn't just a story being shared. I mean, the authors provide all the resources. They actually interviewed the director who did this. They tell you about the population of the town. They give you dates of when all this stuff happens. So every story is interesting, and they really do the research well. I mean, the bibliography section provides all the sources. A lot of names are mentioned throughout this book. I mean, reading this book is fun, but I'm keeping it on my shelf as a resource. I mean, if I run across somebody, I'm going to be like, hey, wow, he's in the book. You know, but that's the cool thing about this. I mean, pickleball, yeah, it's a young sport, but there's so much more. It's growing every day, and we do meet these folks, the historians, the pioneers, they're out there. So let me tell you a little more here. Right? You know, there's a good chance if you've been in this game for any amount of time, you probably met someone who's mentioned in this book. The About the Authors section really talks about the authors' pickleball careers. I mean, these are smart women. Beverly went to Pepperdine University, and Jennifer went to California State University at Bakersfield. Jennifer also played tennis for Cal State. I am very impressed. So, if you are a librarian in a public library, you really need this book. Chances are pickleball, the #1 growing sport in America, has already invaded your community. People love playing this game, and you will too. If you love pickleball, come on, it's obvious. You should get this book. If you love research and oral history like me, you should get this book. You can get this book at Amazon and Pickleball Central for only $25. A lot of things are Pickleball Librarian approved, but this is very, very Pickleball Librarian approved.